Yeah, we're live. Hello. Thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Welcome, 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 welcome in. Welcome in. Oh my goodness. I think today is the last Friday. Yeah. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm your host, Joy Onyeso. And tonight we're going to be having a conversation on how to overcome obstacles and stay motivated. So, this is really very timely. I'm excited to welcome you to season 19 and episode 217. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That's a lot. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. Today is going to be very relaxed. And if this is your first time of joining us at the Friday Night Hangout, welcome. My name is Joy Onyeso, as I said earlier on. And we usually hang out here every Friday, 7 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. West African time. And tonight we're going to be having that conversation because, this is the end of, we're wrapping up April. And then April is the first month in the second quarter of the year. A number of us from when we started in January till now, we may have lost steam. How then do we stay motivated when you're looking at all the goals you set? You know how you come into the year with so much energy, so much ambition. You're so positive that things are going to turn out well, and then you keep moving. There are a lot of things happening, a lot of barriers, obstacles, and let's start breaking some of these things down. What are some of the barriers we could face moving into the second quarter, just moving along in this year? We're going to take them one after the other. And then finally, we're going to look at ways of staying motivated. When you look around you and it looks as if nothing is working, it looks as if you don't even have clarity again. There's how you would work with a lot of conviction, and as you move along, things just doesn't seem to be falling into place, and you just say, maybe I didn't get it right. Maybe I'm not sure what next to do. My dear, there is hope. There is that audacity that you have when you allow yourself to remain hopeful. And that's the kind of conversation we'll be having tonight. So, welcome once more. Welcome, welcome once more. Uh, just a minute. I'm trying to technical stuff. Okay, great. So, now, what are some of the obstacles that you could have or that we experience? What are some of the obstacles in our personal life, in our business life? I recall that a few days ago, I got a call, oh, that my mom is sick and she's been rushed to the hospital and all of that. And then you know how it is here, trying to sort things out, trying to get her the needed medical attention and all of that. That itself can be a distraction in the sense that you've planned out your time, you've planned out your month, but these are all foreseen circumstances. No one prepared for it, no one plans for it, but it happens. No matter how well prepared you are, that's the message, right? That no matter how well prepared you are, life will happen. And when it happens, would you allow it to deflate you? You're human, so yes, it could hit you and make you feel miserable. You could feel overwhelmed. You can feel frustrated. A lot of emotions can play up. But the key thing I want us to learn tonight is, what do you do with all of that? Do you allow it to hit you, keep you down, and then you would not move? Or can you decide that, yes, I'm going to go with the tide, I'm going to find my bearing, and I'll do the much I can, and then, life goes on. When we begin to understand that life doesn't come with any prepared manual, You can do your best, you can have frameworks, you can do all of that, but there's still that uncertainty. There is still that level of um, you know, things you did not plan for that will hit you. But you have the choice to decide if you want to stay focused or if you want yourself to be pulled down. Now, let's take a look at the business scene and then the personal level. Let's start from the business scene. I know most of us are involved in one kind of business or the other as entrepreneur. We're working within organizations that are also business minded organizations, whether it's for profit organization or not for profit organization, it's still a going concern, it's a business. So, how then do you prepare yourself in this time where we don't even know what the next day would bring? You see, if you're living in Nigeria, you need to be prepared for uncertainty. You can wake up in the morning and they say, okay, we're not selling fuel at 980 again. We decide to sell it at 2,000 naira. That's the time of the day we're in right now. It becomes very difficult as a business person to plan. It becomes very difficult for you to implement, and it's a lot of pressure. So if you're not able to manage the pressure very well, it gets at you. It gets at your health. It gets at the work you do. And, sometimes you can even decide to throw in the towel. We saw what happened during the COVID period, right? Now, organizations that were not able to pivot, organizations that did not expect that magnitude. In fact, none of us did expect that magnitude of shutdown. The world stood still. A lot of organizations shut down till today. New organizations were bettered. And this is the lesson for us tonight, that in every dark cloud, there is always a silver lining. No matter how uncertain the times are, no matter how things are happening, you still have the opportunity to find your silver lining. Yes, there are policies coming up you have no control over. Yes, the market price is still soaring. This is a time where innovation and creativity becomes, the name of the game. So if you're operating as a business person, right, in this environment, and when I say this environment, I'm referring to a Nigeria business economy. You need to start studying beyond your business, your ecosystem. You need to start studying this is a time where you pay attention to even the minutest details, because that can make a difference in you not just staying afloat but thriving. Most times we've gotten away with, just getting so focused on what we do without looking around us, without focusing on what every other person is doing and trying to learn new things or trying to adapt. But as a business owner, you cannot run your business the same way. If you run it the same way, you find yourself in troubled waters. So there has to be that constant search for new knowledge. There has to be that, openness to alternatives, to trying to do things the unusual ways, questioning, interrogating things. This is not a time where you just take everything as it comes. Secondly, you need to be focused on cost. You just need to be focused on cost. Every little cost matters. Every little cost matters in your business these days. You look at the staff strength you have. Can you do with one or two persons less? If you have team members, are you very clear on their job description? How are they adding value to your business? Unfortunately, for those of us who are business owners in Nigeria, you need to be on top of the game. You need to make sure that your team members understand the vision and they can run with it. Because what often happens, hi, Golden, how you doing? Nice to have you in. Now, one of the challenges again is that you will find out that you are paying a lot of money in terms of staff salaries and you're not seeing the requisite output. I was having a conversation. Don't forget that tonight we are looking at how to overcome obstacles and stay motivated. And we're looking at some personal experiences and stories. So a few days ago, I was talking with a sister of mine who lives in the US, and we're looking at the work culture, the ethics in Nigeria and in the Western world. And we're making some comparisons, right? Now, don't tell me about the salaries. It's not the same. Yes, because of course the economy is larger. It can't be the same. But we want to look at the value system, the culture of work there. You don't need to run after people to once they sign up for things. So it's either you're in or you're out. we're looking at some very specific things, like maybe making calls, like, so she was like, oh, I'm sorry, I could not pick your call, it wasn't my break time, and I'll call you during her break period. She called me and said, I'll call you after work, like she needed to do one or two things with her break period. That was fine. But in Nigeria, you would be with someone, and person's on duty, and it's even worse with front desk officers, right? And they're busy talking or laughing or chatting with colleagues, and you have to wait for them to be done with what they're doing for them to attend to you. You see this even in hospitals, right? So the work culture really leaves a lot. A lot it leaves a lot really for us to do. There's a lot of work for us to do in that regards. And some of the reasons are lack of motivation. So, what are the primary reasons why people are not motivated? That's where I'm taking this to, which is one of the other things I want us to look at tonight. What are some of the reasons why people are not motivated? People will spend so much time applying for a job, they get the job, and they spend the same amount of energy, if not more, trying not to come to work, trying not to do what they're supposed to do. So, what really is this all about? One of the things I can say is, one, when one is not clear about your purpose, when you don't have clarity as to why you are doing certain things. Here we have what we call the bandwagon movement. So everybody is looking for a certain kind of job because everyone needs to work. He needs to put things on the table for you, right? You need to find food to eat. That's not bad by itself, because you can actually do something that is not within your line of passion, right? As a stopgap while you're building up to doing things that would really make you feel satisfied. But when you set out to run a business, when you set out to seek employment, you need to have a deep understanding of why you are doing it. If you do not, you're not going to have the motivation to wake up in the morning, have your bath, dress up, and go to the office. You will find out that you would find reasons to be coming to work by 12 noon or not even showing up at all. Even when you're a business owner, I would say some people do not go to their office till very, very, very late, right? And this also affects their businesses. So motivation is very key in anything that we do in life. And you need to understand the why. If you do not understand why you need to do something, you will find it difficult to show up. You will find it difficult to remain consistent. You will find it difficult to grow in whatever endeavor it is your hands are on. Now, when challenges come, because you're not anchored in what you're doing, you don't have the passion, you don't have an understanding of what you're doing, you know, you are not motivated to weather the storm. You will start looking at who you want to blame. Oh, it is this person, it is that thing. That they said a bad workman quarrels with his tools. Oh, it is the weather, it is raining, I did not find transportation to come, and all of that. Growth is not magical, it follows processes, and there has to be a system to it. One of the things I know is that you need to be intentional. You need to have a clear understanding of what it is you want to achieve, even if you don't know how, and then you start moving towards that direction gradually. Time is also another thing that makes people feel, not motivated. They feel, oh, it takes so much time to do this. Where will I find that time? If something is a priority for you, you make out time for it. If something is a priority, thank you so much, Golden. She says, you look so graced and blessed, man. I see your beautiful face tonight. Thank you so much, Golden. I appreciate you and thank you for, coming on board tonight. So if you're just joining in, welcome, welcome. If I have not called you, so sorry. You know how it is sometimes. I can't see everyone. So thank you all for coming in. And it's nice to have you here. We're having a conversation on how to overcome obstacles and stay motivated. And I've talked about some of the obstacles that we could face in businesses and in some obstacles business can face and individuals could face. I've talked about ill health, lack of financial um, power and all of those stuff, right? You lose your source of livelihood. It can make you feel, you can make you not to be motivated to do things, and it become a major obstacle for you to achieve your dream. But I've been posting a lot in the last 24 hours on social connections, social currency. And that's what I want us to also look at. How can you stay motivated? Your social currency is one bit. When I want to tell us a story about Iyabojo, I was really glued. I was looking for all the photos, the videos, and I had a good laugh. Sometimes I shed tears watching one or two very emotional scenes, right? And that's what it is. Why were we all staying tuned watching? We felt a level of connection. We wanted to know. Of course, people had different perspective watching. But from my perspective, and I know a number of others, we loved how the story played out. The well organized, well attended event. And, that alone can motivate a number of people to want to do good by themselves. That story alone has made a number of people to know, you know what? I'm worthy of love. I'm worthy of this and that. And that's good. And that's part of what we're talking about today. You cannot stay in isolation. If you decide to stay in isolation, if you don't lift up your head and look around you, if you don't give yourself the permission to smell the roses, you would be so, erroneous in thinking that it's only you and it's all about you. Let me tell you this, you're not alone. So if you're going through financial difficulties, you're not alone. You're going through health challenges, you're not alone. You're going through marital problems, you're not alone. I can tell you that whatever obstacle or barriers or setback or challenges that you're facing right now, you are not alone. A lot of other people are going through similar situations. But here's the take. Is the lens with which you see it, the mindset with which you engage with it, and the actions that you decide to take is what makes a difference. So we could decide to sit back and keep saying T-pain, T-pain, T-pain economy. The more you say it, the more you believe it, the more it becomes a reality. So you need to watch what you feed yourself, what you tell yourself is possible, and how you can surmount all of those. I was talking about time. That time is a very serious currency, so valuable, in fact, that, it's so valuable because once you miss out on a second, it is gone for your lifetime. Just the thought of that humbles me a lot. That, in our lifetime, we will never see today again. We will never see this time in our lifetime. No, it will never happen. It's gone and it's gone. Now, if you approach life with that mindset, it makes you prioritize what you do. It makes you prioritize what you say yes to. It makes you value who you are and who you invest your energy in. So if you want to avoid certain challenges, certain setback, certain obstacles, you also need to mind the kind of relationships that you nurture. Very critical. You don't want to be investing in relationship that will give you so much pain. You see all the red flags and you just keep investing in that relationship that's not taking you anywhere, whether it be business relationship, or a personal relationship or spiritual relationship. So there are a number of things that we inflict on ourselves that creates pressure on us, not even what anyone externally would do to us. And you need to make out that time because it's so valuable to put things in structure, to put things in perspective. If you're here and you have not really thought about what May would look like, what June would look like for you, then I want to ask you to give yourself that permission to do that. I know sometimes you feel so overwhelmed. It happens to me. And you just want to, let time come, go. You're not, it happens once in a while. That's why you're human, right? But what I said is don't allow yourself to dwell in it so much so that you lose track of who you are, that you lose track of your goals, that you lose track of the results that you want to achieve. Remember, your life is a legacy building life. Whether you like it or not, you're building a legacy. So intentionally or unintentionally, you're building a legacy. But now you have the opportunity or the power to decide the kind of legacy you want to build. So you want to decide the kind of impact you want to leave. And that's why intentionality is very key. Very, very key. So when you're intentional and you hit a roadblock, you will ask yourself, so what can I do? What can I do? Thank you so much, Golden. I love the way you're summarizing, the content. What can I do? So a high level of self-awareness is critical. You want to stay motivated, you want to overcome setbacks and challenges, you need to know who you are. Who are you? How do you react to issues? What triggers you? I keep saying this all the time. I don't get tired of saying it. Even at the risk of sounding like a broken record, I'll keep saying this. Having a high sense of, who you are is very critical to whatever it is you want to do. You want to succeed in business, then you must have a high level of self awareness. You need to know you. You as that entrepreneur, you as a business owner, you as an employer, you as a decision maker, because your who you are would impact on the kind of decisions you take. It will impact on the kind of team members that you employ. Your recruitment process is going to be impacted by your value system. So that's why it's very important for you to spend time meeting yourself, getting to know who you are. Very critical. So I've talked about time, I've talked about purpose, I've talked about passion, I've talked about social currency, and I've also talked about, yeah, social currency, right? And also a high level of self awareness. These are very, very important in helping you to overcome challenges and to stay motivated. And then I also want to talk about, having a grounded spiritual life. What works for me, I don't know about you. So the idea is that you reflect on what is it that can help you when you feel sad, when you feel overwhelmed. What do you do? Where do you go to? One of the very things I find that works for me is music, and not just any kind of music. It has to be soulful, not sorrowful, soulful, inspiring, uplifting gospel music. It helps me to dissipate that negative energy and makes me feel so good. It sometimes I would be listening to the worship songs and I'm crying, I'm just letting go. And by the time I'm done, I feel so rejuvenated. I feel energized to move on. So find out what works for you. There has to be that thing. And that's why I talked about having a high level of self awareness. So, what is it that you will do that will get you motivated and you get your note out again and you say, I will try one more time? Clarity is not just something you wake up and you get. You don't get full comprehension, deep comprehension at the first go. So you need to give yourself the permission to keep at it. So can you imagine that you throw in the towel and then you don't keep at it? You won't come to a place of deep comprehension. That's why we say a number of people, they jump from one business to do that business, from one profession. They don't give themselves enough time to work things out. So at the first sign of a roadblock, they are off. They move to the next best thing. A sign of a roadblock, they are off. It's also a sign of emotional immaturity. When you're so restless that you cannot give yourself the permission to stay and figure certain things out. So that if you get to the point where you're saying, you know what, I don't want to do this business again. I don't want to be in this relationship again. I don't want to do this or that. You are saying it from a place of informed um, um, decisions, right? You can say, oh, I don't want to do this because of one, two, three, four. No, I don't know. I just feel like you can't be living life based on just feelings. You're going to crash. So when you have a lot of mood swings, you find yourself that you're always having mood swings. You need to do a lot of, internal work. You need to work on yourself to find out there's a whole lot of uncertainty about who you are, your emotions, your aspirations, and there's some gap inside of you. There's some yearning that you haven't dealt with. Sometimes it could be from your childhood experiences, and you've just been living in denial. So when you find out you're always having that mood swing, your emotions are not matured, your emotions are not grounded, then you need to ask yourself the key questions. Because it could also make you not to feel motivated. That's, you see people, they swipe and before you know it, they're moving into depression. You also need to have a very good support system where you can, sis, I don't feel good, I don't feel happy. And then by the time you're talking, the person is asking you some questions, or the person is just encouraging you, or the person is just listening in, you will feel good. God did not create us to be independent, He created us to be interdependent, meaning that you would need things from other people to make you, complete, in the sense that, there are certain puzzles, there are certain supports you need to get from people. But your emotions by itself should be figured out, should be on track. So the economy is not enough reason to make you swing your mood up and down, up and down. There's a level you get with your emotions, even when you have that contentment. Even when you don't have, people will not know. You don't go making yourself a parasite and then allowing people to, treat you anyhow without any level of dignity because of what you want to do. Some of us have put ourselves in a situation whereby we are always begging to be loved. We're always begging to get to have for attention. We're always begging to be heard. And that's because you have a low self-esteem, low confidence level. And that by itself creates a lot of challenge around you. That even when you're doing something right, you do not even know that you're doing something right. Because your sense, your self-worth is so low that you're not giving yourself the accolades that you deserve. You're not giving yourself the accolades that you deserve. So this year is a wake-up call to us that challenges are normal. Having obstacles your way is normal. It's not all about village people. Sometimes it's just for you to change your perspective and things will change. Sometimes for you to change your environment and things will change. Sometimes it may need you to change your crowd, the people you hang out with, and things will change. And I will ask you before I wrap up tonight, who do you have in your corner? How much of yourself do you know? What is your social currency? How much deposit are you making your social currency? Are you the one that is always making a withdrawal? You're always making a withdrawal. You will run empty. So if you're always making a withdrawal, you're going to run empty. If you're always depositing into others without anyone depositing into you, you're also going to run empty. So you want to be able to balance it out that as much as you're depositing in others, you also have people who deposit in you. And allow people to love you, allow people to show you that they care. Allow yourself. There was a time when I used to find it difficult you know how you want to always be the one. I would always want to be the one. Oh, I want to support, and I can do this, I can do that by myself. It took me a lot. Yet it comes to a place where I understood that life is a symbiotic relationship. You even deprive people of their blessings if you don't allow them to deposit in you. So, with the same grace that you deposit in others, allow people to deposit what you need in you. So, if I need help, I wouldn't hesitate to reach out. It's either a yes or a no. And if you say no, I'm not going to hold you to it. I'm not going to feel disgruntled or bitter. I don't feel entitled to people's time. So some of the things we also face is that we have expectations where we're not supposed to have expectations. There's certain people that you place expectations on is a burden on them because they have not earned the right for you to place such expectations on them. So tonight, as we wrap up our conversation, right, on overcoming obstacles and staying motivated, some of the key things I want us to go away with tonight is one, understand who you are. You need to have a high level self awareness. Who are you beyond your name? What makes you think? What are your weaknesses? What triggers you? What makes you happy? What makes you feel contented? Right? Spend time to get to know yourself. Look at your patterns. The other time you blew your anger, you lost your temper. What made you lose your temper? Is there a pattern to it? Even when you're too happy too, check it out. I don't make decisions when I'm too happy because you make decisions that you're not supposed to make. So check out yourself. And when you get to understand yourself, it helps you because you begin to know what makes you motivated. How can I keep myself energized and I keep going despite anything I may hit? No matter how well prepared you are for life, life will happen. Life will happen. The only constant thing in life is change, and you have no control over it. So stop trying to control what you cannot control. That's why most of us, we just get deflated. Recognize that the only thing you have control over is yourself. Even in this economy, whatever name you want to brand it, just know that whatever name you brand it will become manifest in your life. And how are you preparing for what you want to receive? I made a post on this some days back. Some of us are praying, some of us are doing a lot of things, but beyond all of that, faith without works is dead. What are you putting in place? Some of us need to invest in knowledge. We're not. Some of us need to upskill. We're not doing that. Some of us need to take some actions. No, you need to show up more often. You're not. You're having reasons not to. Oh, I don't have enough data. I do not know this. I do not know that. Then what are you doing about it? So I want to put it out to us tonight. Can you just look at some of the setbacks you have, stare it in the face, and then list out some of the actions you are going to take from today? Give yourself permission. Baby steps, my dear. Part of the reason why we crash is that we want to do everything at once. No. No matter how knowledgeable you are, when you start off in a new venture or you're expanding, you will make mistakes. So that's why you need to take it on a layered approach. So that when you make the mistakes, it's easier for you to, put it back together. So give yourself opportunity to make mistake and know that this is you failing forward. What do I mean? It becomes a building block for your success. So if you're also wondering, how can I get more of this? How can I need someone to hold my hands. Where can I be? What kind of network do I need to be involved in that can, hold my hands, inspire me, and all of that? Then let me invite you to the She Speaks Summit. The She Speaks Summit 2025 is happening on the 26th through the 28th of June in Coal City, Enugu. Listen, if you have not gotten yourself a ticket for this event, you need to get yourself a ticket. We have two classes of ticket: the regular ticket, which is 60,000 naira, and then we have the VIP ticket, 100,000 naira. These are discounted tickets. If you were with us last year and the previous year, you will know that our VIP tickets, usually we sell VIP tickets for 250 because of all that comes into it. It's a 3-day program and laser coaching for VIP participants. And then this year, because it's our 7th anniversary, it's the 7th year of the She Speaks, for the 8th edition, we want to do it differently. So we are coming highly discounted. I'm hoping that you would make yourself available. Bookmark. If you're not in Enugu and you want to attend, not to worry, we got you covered. We have partnerships with hotels very close to the venue that will give you discounted rates. We have vehicle that will pick you from the hotel to the venue and back to your hotel. There's going to be a lot of exhibitions there, a lot of exhibitors in that venue. So just come prepared. You're going to meet with women who will motivate you, inspire you. Listen, do not look down on this kind of gatherings. This is where you network. This is where you build meaningful connections. This is where you connect. And the She Speaks happen at a very good time. June is already mid-year. So it will give you an opportunity to reflect on what you've done for the first half of the year and also to plan and strategize what you want to do the second half of the year. So if you want to join us at the She Speaks Summit, you can just use the link we're going to put in the chat box. Click on it. It will take you to the site where you can get more information, where you can register. And trust me, it's an event you should plan for. Now, for those who are registered for the VIP, we have a special session for you, Coach Elevate. We're going to have selected speakers who are going to pour into you for 2 to 3 hours, right? And then if you're a coach, you don't want to miss this program. We're going to teach you what kind of coaching methodology you can use. How do you identify your niche? How do you set your pricing system? How do you even know that you're creating transformation in the lives of your clients? If you're a consultant, then you also want to be in this space as well. How do you know the niche of consultancy to venture into? How do you even build your consultancy practice as a business? You would get all of this information as a VIP, participant. So I hope to see you there, and I look forward to welcoming you. And make it a point of duty to join us next week, Friday, as we come to you with a fresh edition of Stay Blessed. Make our time to smell the roses this weekend. And I know that you will feel rejuvenated when you smell the roses. Take care of yourself. I love, honor, and celebrate you. And I look forward to seeing you next week, Friday. Remember, you have what it takes to stay motivated no matter what. Know who you are. Build meaningful connections. Invest in knowledge. Prioritize your time, right? And so much more as we've discussed tonight. Get your journal. Start recording. Take notes of how you feel. You want to build your emotional management to a level where you can deal with things without, losing track of who you are or feeling that you've lost it all. And at the end of the day, there is someone who is greater than all of us, who is our source, and that's God. Spend time getting to know Him. When you know Him more, you will get to know yourself even better. I love you. I honor you. And I celebrate you. And I look forward to seeing you next week, Friday. From me and the members of my team, it's good night, good afternoon, depending on where you're joining in from. And I'll see you next week, Friday. Good night.
Are you ready to unlock your full potential? The She Speaks Summit 2025 is here. Join us in Enugu State, Nigeria from June 26 to 28, 2025. The She Speaks Summit 2025 registration is now open. Register now.